It is -7 Fahrenheit, which is about -21 Celsius, and it is cold. This is the first time it's been this cold that we're going skiing. So we'll see how it works and how long we last. We truly don't know whether it's too cold for us to ski or not. How do you feel so far?
It is cold. Yeah, you can really feel that. And like just standing there, I've got to have my goggles on just to stop the cold air on your face. It's I don't think they're going to have any issues with people not wearing masks today.
Yes.
It is cold, but so beautiful.
Oh yeah, clear blue skies today. It looks great today.
They've just groomed it. The runs look fantastic. We're here just after 9 o'clock, pretty much first lift, and yeah, looking forward to shredding it. We left the boots in the truck last night, and my boots in particular, because they're like solid plastic ski boots rather than your snowboarding boots.
Yeah.
My ski boots are cold, and I put my feet in this morning, and I'm like, yeah, next time let's leave the boots inside the RV overnight.
Yeah.
Get them warmed up for the morning.
Yep. Okay, so the first run down was okay. So my goggles basically froze up the top part of it, so I barely could see. So I pulled them up off my eyes, but then I think my eyelashes were freezing shut. So that's interesting predicament. Either you see or your eyelashes freeze shut and then I can't see anyways. So I'll try to melt this off and see how the next one goes.
And this is seriously cold. Like, I have never been in weather this cold ever. Not just skiing, but in my life, I've never been in weather this cold. And I'll say, like, I think our thermal layer is working real well. Like, upper and pants and things were nice and warm. My feet are really struggling. I've got 3 pairs of socks on, but I think because the boots started cold, that probably didn't help me very much. So I'm already, like, my toes are feeling pretty numb and cold. And I think what I really need is either some like heated boot liner or one of those heat pads or something to go in there, or start with warm boots would probably have helped quite a lot. But hey, we're learning. This is our first time in really cold weather skiing. I know it sounds odd because you ski in the snow normally, but most of the times we've been in the past, it's been freezing, give or take, and sometimes quite a lot warmer. We've certainly skied in the past in like just a t-shirt. So it's a new experience for us and we're learning. So if you have any tips for how to keep feet warm while skiing, please let us know. And we're going to keep going for now, but we're not going to push ourselves too hard. And if it starts to become too uncomfortable, we'll just call it. We're close enough to the ski resort that we don't have to force ourselves to ski if it's not nice. So,
but it's a good experiment to figure out whether we can ski in this cold condition.
Oh, for sure. And find out maybe what we need to tweak or change or whatever. So yeah, stay with us for now. Do you want a tug?
Huh?
Do you want a tug?
Like I can't see you, so.
Yes. You good?
Yeah. So you probably can't see on the camera right now, but my dinghy is completely frozen. And then on top of the mountain, or middle of the mountain, I stopped by to pull up my other one. And by the end of it, that was also frozen. So I was not a happy camper. Okay, we have warmed up now and we feel a lot better. And now I know how it feels when it is -7 Fahrenheit or -21 Celsius outside. And it's okay if you're not doing anything and there's no wind, but as soon as you're on a mountain and going downhill, it's cold. It's really cold. My goggles fogged up, so I had to ski down without goggles. They fogged up and froze, so I couldn't see anything. And then my eyelashes would freeze up time to time. And then I think I could have used another layer on my legs because my butt was getting cold towards the end of it. And also my toes were starting to get cold by the end of it because, well, going downhill, I can't really like wiggle them that much. So on the long run, like the last one we did was like 10 minutes long. That's long in these kind of conditions. Yeah. What about you, Matt?
The runs are just being groomed, which for me on skis works really well. You struggle a bit with that, don't you?
Yeah, for me it's a little bit too hard when it's this cold. When it's groomed.
Yeah, it's freshly groomed and this cold. It was pretty. It was pretty solid under ski, underfoot.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it was beautiful conditions in that regard, but it was cold. And as I said, I've never been in conditions this cold, not just skiing, but ever. So it really was an experiment. We weren't necessarily planning a full day skiing in this.
Yeah.
And we've learned a few things. So my feet, like I said, were a problem. I can now feel my toes again. It was amazing how quickly I lost feeling my toes. That was kind of scary. And then my goggles were doing fine. And then I put my goggles up on my helmet, and you're all probably screaming at me going, no! Well, I know that now. So they fogged up, and in that temperature, the fog freezes instantly.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, well, I'll clean those off, and you're probably going like, no! So I removed my goggles, and I took the lens out and tried to wipe it down, and the whole lot just froze up. So I had pretty poor visibility on the way down. It was a good lesson of what it's like to be in conditions this cold. And
I think what we learned is that yes, it's possible to ski when it's this cold, but you have to have adequate gear and it has to be like perfect for you. Like you cannot adjust it middle of the mountain.
Yeah.
Because as I was trying to adjust my neck warmer thing, I took gloves off to do that. And my fingers got so cold I could not, even though I put gloves on afterwards, they could not recover until the end of the ski run.
And I'm sure more experienced skiers and boarders have just like got this down to a T. They know what they're doing. They don't even think about it anymore. We're not at that level yet. Like I say, this is the first time we've done something
at this cold.
And it was an experience. I don't know that I'm looking forward to doing it in this cold temperature again. I think I'll stick to skiing when it's around about freezing, which for us is a really nice temperature.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did it. And like you say, I think with a couple of small tweaks, like not leaving boots in the car overnight, making sure everything's adjusted, I think we would have been fine, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that was our day of skiing yesterday, and it was a lot of fun, but it really, really was very cold. We thought today would actually be a good opportunity to give you a bit of an update on how things are going so far this winter. It is the end of January, which means we are roughly halfway through the winter season. And as winters go, this has actually been a fairly mild winter. The winter sort of leading up to the end of December was exceptionally mild. The snowfall was some of the lowest that Vermont has ever had. It has got a bit cooler since. We had this Arctic air mass that settled on us over the last few days. And last night is the coldest temperature that we've ever been in the RV. It still didn't get down to 0 Fahrenheit, but it got pretty close. It was just below 3 degrees. So yeah, last night was a chilly night. And the daytime high today has barely got above about 16 Fahrenheit, comparable to yesterday when it didn't even get above 11 or 12 Fahrenheit. So it's been definitely a lot cooler recently. How have we been doing? How have we been surviving in the RV? Well, I can say that the preparation that we did has made a huge difference. We have been really happy with how things have been going so far, and we've been very, very comfortable. Let's start with the RV skirting. If you remember back to when we first arrived in Vermont in November, one of the things that we did real quickly while we were still in our quarantine was to install the RV skirting. We used the pink foam board for this with the foil tape, and so far that's been working out really, really well. We've been monitoring the temperature very closely around the RV. We've got about a dozen or more temperature sensors dotted around in various places,
and we've been keeping a close eye particularly on the temperatures underneath the RV. Now, we haven't installed a heater under there. Some people told us we needed to, but we decided just to try it without and see how we get on. And the lowest that we've seen it get to underneath the RV so far is just below freezing. So last night at about midnight was actually the coldest we've seen it get to underneath, and it was 31.5 degrees underneath the RV. But we have a sealed underbelly as well, a coroplast layer that goes underneath, and we have another sensor up above there because that's where our tanks and more importantly tank valves are. That's what we don't want to freeze. So how are the temperatures there doing? Well, at the same time that the space under the RV reached just below freezing, the tank valves were fine. In fact, we haven't seen that area get below 40 degrees, so there is no risk of it freezing there. And one of the big reasons for that is because the furnace, the propane furnace on the RV, is ducted into that space, into the underbelly under there. So far, we have seen nothing to suggest that our tanks or valves are at any risk of freezing, but we are keeping a very close eye on things. Speaking of tanks and things, what about the heated hoses that we installed? You may remember that one of the mods we did was to add in the heated water hose and also the heated sewer hose. These have been working fantastically well. These are made by No Freeze Water Hose and the quality is really, really good. They've been working great for us so far. We've just not had to worry about it at all, and there's been no signs that they've even come close to causing us any problems under there. In fact, we actually had the owner of the RV park email us the other day and say, hey, where did you get those heated hoses from again? I've got a few people who may be in need of one, so it looks like some of our neighbours might be adding those in as well, and they have been working really well, so I would happily encourage you to check those out if you haven't done so already. Speaking of heating and keeping things warm, how are we doing inside? Well, you can see we're staying toasty and warm inside. We've kept it really warm inside here, usually setting the thermostat during the day to about 76 degrees, which means we're comfortable inside here in a t-shirt. There's no need to have it that warm. If you wanted to save a bit on heating, you could absolutely have it cooler inside, but we like being comfortable in here, and for us this is a nice temperature. So we've been setting that to 76. We started by heating the RV mainly using a portable electric heater. This was working really well for us, but as the temperatures dropped, we switched to the propane furnace. And the main reason for this was because it's ducted into the underbelly, like I said earlier. This is what stops our tank valves from freezing, but means we have to run the propane furnace rather than the electric portable heater that we have as well. To make sure that we don't run out of propane this year, we have a 100-gallon propane tank that we had installed by a local propane dealer sitting just next to the RV. They come along about every 3 weeks or so and top up our propane. So far this season, since we had that installed in kind of mid to late November, we've used about 65 gallons of propane. According to the person that's been refilling the tanks, he said we're using about half of what most of our neighbours are using. So the insulation that we have on the RV and the skirting that we have around the RV is obviously doing its job to help keep things warmer in here, stop us losing too much heat, and also to therefore save money on propane. We'll do a full analysis of exactly how much we've used at the end of the winter, but since we're roughly halfway through and we've used about 65 gallons, we expect it to be roughly double that by the end of the season. As for electricity, it's varied a little bit as we have used the electric heater and then migrated over to the propane furnace. But at the moment we're using something like 20 kilowatt hours per day. Now, some of that is the electric water heater. We use the gas and electric water heaters together to give us lots of hot water and try and maximize those showers really. We've also been using electricity, obviously, for the heated hoses and the dehumidifier that I'll talk about in a minute. And also just, we do a lot of cooking. We've got the electric kettle, we've got the Instant Pot, we've got the air fryer, and of course the fridge as well. So we've been using, like I say, about 20 kilowatt hours per day, or about 600 kilowatt hours per month. Again, we'll do a full analysis at the end of the winter to see exactly how much we've used this season. Speaking of the fridge has been working great. We were a little concerned about whether the fridge would have any problems with the very cold temperatures we were expecting. People have certainly said that the absorption fridges, like in RVs, we know those are more susceptible to cold weather. Our fridge came installed with the Norcold cold weather kit. We've talked about this on our website. This is a little heating strip which helps to prevent the coolant basically that's in the tubes on the back of the fridge, stop that from freezing or becoming too viscous and gelatinous, and really keep everything working well. It's been running, we can see when that's running, and it's been working great. and we've had no problems with the fridge or freezer whatsoever. They've both been very stable in terms of temperature. We did defrost them a couple of weeks ago just to make sure that they were able to run as efficiently as possible, but so far we've seen no cause for concern there. Again, we have temperature sensors in the fridge, in the freezer, on the coil, and in the compartment outside, so we are keeping a very close eye on things there. The last thing to talk about inside the RV is the humidity. Now, you think about winter camping, you obviously instantly think about the cold temperatures, but humidity is another big factor you need to be thinking about as well. We've taken this pretty seriously. We have a 35-pint residential dehumidifier that we bought before we arrived here in Vermont, and we've got that hooked into our home automation system to help control the humidity and keep it at a level to minimize the amount of condensation that we get on the windows or worse, on the walls and things. The way that the condensation forms is as a result of a temperature differential between inside and outside. So the colder it gets outside, the more quickly the condensation will form, but also the warmer it gets inside, the more quickly that condensation will form. And obviously the more humid it is inside, the quicker that condensation will form. So the goal is to keep the humidity inside as low as possible. And our home automation system balances that based on what the inside and outside temperatures are. What this means in practical terms is that during the day, when we have the temperature quite high inside, our dehumidifier runs most of the time. It's probably on 80% of the time, turning on and off as necessary. But overnight, we let the temperature drop from somewhere around 76 to about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a nice, comfortable temperature for us. And as a result, there's less of a temperature differential, so the dehumidifier can turn off for a little while. Then again, in the morning, when we turn the heating on, or it turns on automatically, the dehumidifier kicks on as well to make sure that we minimize the amount of condensation. And I do say minimize because no matter what we do, we haven't been able to eliminate the condensation altogether. We've got pretty close. Certainly, as long as it doesn't go below freezing overnight, we can avoid condensation. But on those really cold nights, we still get some moisture on the windows, or even some ice on the windows actually in the morning when we wake up. So how are we controlling for that? Well, the air's pretty dry inside, so as long as you can get some airflow over the windows, they dry off pretty quick. We have a small USB powered fan that sits in the corner just behind me here, and generally this window, and specifically this corner of that window, is where we tend to find that condensation forming. So we use that small fan just to get some airflow over it in the morning. And to be honest, once the blinds are raised in the morning and the air can get to the windows, we find they clear really pretty quickly. We certainly haven't had any problems with condensation forming on the walls. I know some of our neighbours have been struggling with that. I think the dehumidifier has been doing a great job of preventing that. Last though, in the cupboards, particularly the ones on the external walls, which for us is most of the cupboards, those can form condensation and moisture on the outside wall inside the cupboard. So what we've been doing is, after a very cold night, particularly if we've been going out for the day, we'll open up the cupboards. We keep most things in cupboards in storage containers, so we'll take those out, put those on the table or the bed, and just let some airflow get inside the cupboards. Maybe use the fan as well, just to encourage that airflow, and it really dries off very quickly inside. So we don't have any concerns with mold or anything like that forming. We've been staying on top of that. And generally that's been our approach to most things. Stay on top of it. Don't let anything run away from you and get too bad. Keep an eye on things, know what's going on, and the quicker you can react, the quicker you can solve these problems and just not let them become a big deal. Let's talk a little bit about how we're doing though. We've been trapped in a tiny space all winter. Are we going crazy yet? No, not at all. We've been having a lot of fun. Even though it's been cold and at times snowy outside, we also have beautiful days like today where it's clear blue skies and sunny, and we've been enjoying some nice walks around the local area here from the RV park, walking in through the trees in the forest here, and it's really, really pretty. We really, really enjoy it. And honestly, as long as you're bundled up warm with plenty of layers, it's really nice. As far as the roads and things go around here, massive kudos to the Vermont staff who are keeping all the roads clear, the DOT and things. They're doing a fantastic job, and we haven't had any problems on the road whatsoever so far this winter. The RV park roads have been ploughed a few times just to keep the level of snow on the roads down, but honestly, it's not been a problem whatsoever. The truck has had no concerns in the snow. We've run it to warm it up for about 10 minutes before we go out each time if it's been really cold. And again, no issues whatsoever in the truck, so really happy there. And that's been great because when we go skiing, like we said yesterday, we like to arrive really early, which often means that we're on the roads before a lot of people have started driving on them and really mixing in all the salt and things to get things thawed off. So we're really happy with how the truck's been doing. Overall, we're just having a great time this winter. We were a little apprehensive going into it. We'd heard a lot of horror stories about we were going to be cold and miserable and cramped and whatever in the RV, and it just hasn't been like that at all. Between staying comfortable in the RV by keeping it warm and keeping it cozy, the beautiful snowy days, there's nothing honestly better than seeing out the window, the snow falling in the background. It's been so nice. And then the walks out through the forest, the days skiing, we've just had a really fun time this winter. And honestly, we would recommend it to anyone. It has been so much fun. A big change compared to what we're used to maybe in the Arizona desert where we've spent the last couple of winters. But overall, we've had so much fun. We're about halfway through the winter, so there's still a long way to go and a lot could change, but fingers crossed things keep staying on as they are and we'll be safe, warm, cozy and very happy in our RV. So that's our quick update for how things are going. Again, at the end of the winter, we will do a full analysis of how everything's been and look at some of the things that have really worked well for us, and if anything's gone badly, we'll of course take a look at that as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already, and we will see you in the next video.